goody, Shellitronnn here. You can call me Shells, and I'm back again with a brand new video, and I'm gonna keep it a Bowberry biscuit. I am so proud of these Carolina Panthers, as I'm sure you've already heard. The Rams and the Lions have reached an agreement. Matt Stafford and Jared Goff are swapping teams, but the Lions get the lion's share of this trade. They get Jared Goff, but they also get 2 first-rounders and a 3rd-rounder. Now, the 3rd-rounder is in this year's draft. The 2 first-rounders are in 2022 and in 2023, so they're future firsts. But you telling me I get Jared Goff, 2 first-rounders, and a 3rd, and all I have to give up is Matt Stafford? That's a very big win. Now, we all know that Jared Goff's contract is huge, so we understand that Matt Stafford isn't necessarily worth 2 firsts and an additional 3rd-round pick. You gotta use a little bit more of that trade capital, that draft capital, to offload that Jared Goff contract, because it is gargantuan. It is huge, okay? The Rams wanted to be out from under Goff. He wasn't performing the way they wanted him to, and they threw the bag at him. So you had to sweeten the deal a little bit to get the Lions to bite. And I think that Matt Stafford was a player who the Panthers fan base was a little bit split on. Some people thought that Matt Stafford, as a 33-year-old quarterback, wasn't good. Matt Stafford's playoff record was his nickname. It was Owen, and he ain't knowing how to win, okay? Matt Stafford has never won a single playoff game in his life, okay? So we understand what's going on there with Matt Stafford, but the way I see it, Matt Stafford with the Lions, sometimes they have a very good offense. They have good receivers. Sometimes they have a running game. Other years, they would have no even shadow of running game, but they would have a very bad defense. Other years, there was a good defense, but on-again, off-again performances from their wide receivers. And we have to also acknowledge that the Lions front office, historically, has never been a very good culture, a very good environment for their big-name, high-profile players. Ask Barry Sanders, ask Calvin Johnson, okay? The Lions have never fostered an environment where their big-name players have really felt welcome and appreciated even when they were there, and especially when they're on the way out. The Lions will do you dirty, and they do not care. Okay, and that can affect how players perform on the field. Now, that's not me saying that Matt Stafford had no reason to not win a single playoff game. Please, perform. But I do believe at 33, with how quarterbacks are looking nowadays, Matt Stafford had enough to have one more contract, a 4-year contract, maybe a 5-year contract with a team option in the 5th year that had basically no money. You cut him for basically free in the 5th year, maybe even the 4th year, honestly. But I think Matt Stafford did have a few, maybe even several good years ahead of him, especially with the weapons that we're going to have, especially with, we have Matt Rule. We have Joe Brady for 1 more year. Probably going to be Sean Ryan, who already coached Matt Stafford in one of his best seasons he's had before he got hurt. I think Matt Stafford could have been a good pickup for the Panthers. Obviously not for 2 firsts and a 3rd, but we had some packages put together that could have been good for us. And according to Albert Breer right here, he says at one point on Saturday, it looked like Matthew Stafford was headed for Carolina. If not Carolina, then Washington. But the Rams kept swinging. The Rams said, we really want to get rid of Jared Goff, and Matt Stafford might be our best shot at getting rid of Jared Goff's contract while also maintaining some level of decent quarterback play without overpaying. They couldn't pay Deshaun Watson, and they weren't willing to give up all the picks it would take to bring in Deshaun Watson, okay? This would be way too much, honestly. It'd be way too much, even for the Rams, who seem to be one of the best teams working out the offseason, contracts, and free agency. They be using their picks like crazy, but they don't reach that cap. They always have a decently competitive team each and every year. They did reach the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and Jared Goff did have very, very great statistics that season. But you got to get rid of him. You got to move on from him, and I think Matt Stafford was their one shot at getting all that done, and they don't really value the 1st round of the draft. Obviously, they haven't had a 1st round draft pick in a minute now. So the Rams were able to get Matt Stafford and also get rid of Jared Goff's contract. that looked good for them. But the reason I said I was so proud of the Panthers is that we're finally telling the truth in these press conferences. For years, I had to listen to Marty Hurney, and I like the guy, but Ron Rivera lie every single chance they got, every single opportunity. If someone, a member of the press, asked them a question, you would be stupid to believe a single word they say. You listen to them, listen to everything they say, but keep an eye out just to make sure that what they're talking about 3 months from now is the same thing they was talking about during that press conference, because more often than not, them boys will be lying. Them boys will be very misleading. And it's not just about the draft or about free agency and that kind of stuff. It would be literally just random things like Rashawn Golden playing a lot of big nickel. And then we never played big nickel and Rashawn Golden was gone instantly. It was just weird, bro. And I could bring up 4 or 5 other topics, other things that Ron Rivera and Marty Hurney lied about off the top of my head. But this is not the video topic for that stuff. We're talking about the new GM, Scotty Fitt. He said in his introductory press conference, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to be in on every deal. And Albert Breer made it clear that the Panthers were at the very, very end, almost at the finish line for acquiring Matt Stafford, a player who I've been saying for a while now has been a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League. Whether you think he's around 9, 10, 11, sure. But he's not that far off from the top 10. And if you're wondering just how aggressive the Panthers were, just what did they offer in exchange for Matt Stafford? In this tweet here from NFL Update, it says the Panthers offered the 8th pick and a late round choice. Now, to me, a late round choice is anything from round 4 and beyond. I think first, at number 8, a 4th, maybe a 5th, and then you also give them Teddy Bridgewater. That's probably a pretty fair deal for Matt Stafford. You get 2 picks and a stopgap quarterback who still has 2 years technically on his deal. That's not bad. You can rebuild with that. You can make moves and whatnot. And not every single first round pick is created equally. We offered the highest of the first round picks. Apparently Washington offered 19 and a 3rd round pick. The Colts never offered 21, but asked about other things they could have given up. Number 8 and a 4th plus Teddy is a pretty sweet deal. And I think the Lions would have accepted that if the Rams didn't offer 2 firsts and a 3rd. You have to jump at that. You have to jump at that. I would not have been too upset if we had gotten Matt Stafford, because no matter what you believe about Trey Lance or Zach Wilson or even Justin Fields, if he falls, let's be real. You have to make a bet, an unsure assumption that what they did at the college level is going to translate at the NFL level. We'll worry about that when we get to that, maybe in a couple of weeks from now. But right here with this Matt Stafford deal, I wouldn't have been too upset if the Panthers had actually been the ones to obtain Matt Stafford. I know what I can expect. Matt Stafford, with our games when we played this year, we would have probably been a 9-10 win team. I think we could have won 10 games if we had Matt Stafford at the helm of this offense. And with the defense playing the way they looked last year, even without KK, I'm not going to lie to you. We could have been a very, very impressive team this year alone. Even with a quarterback who isn't great, but is very, very good in Matt Stafford. And I'm proud of the Panthers for being true to their word and being in on every deal. I'm going to speak on Deshaun Watson, what this trade means for us in terms of Deshaun Watson, and whether or not the Panthers should make a move for Deshaun Watson very, very soon, most likely later on today. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But for right now, let me know all your thoughts in the comments below about Matt Stafford, the deal. Did you want him? Did you not want him? What would you have traded for him? What do you think about Matt Stafford? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And you already know to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.